familiar faces on the call. Very nice to see everyone. As you're getting settled, I just want to let folks know you probably heard when you joined the Zoom session that we are recording so that we can share the recording of the info session to our website after the fact. So if you'd like, if you're more comfortable, you are welcome to turn off your camera and even change your name to participant if you'd like. Through the recording, though, it should only show the speakers, but just in case, you're welcome to do that if you're more comfortable. And what we will do is we're going to record the informational content that we're sharing today. But when we get to the Q&A section at the end of today's info session, we'll turn the recording off so that you're welcome to ask any questions that you have at that point. And I'll just ask that when you joined, you were put on mute. And if you could please remain on mute until we get to the end of the session, that would be greatly appreciated. My name is Stephanie Draker, and I am the program manager with WorkInCulture, and I am going to be leading the session today with my colleague, Nadja Pelkey. And we also have my colleague, Naomi Stokes, who is our project support assistant on here, is going to be managing the chat if you do have any questions that you want to ask along the way. And at this point, perhaps, Naomi, can I ask you to turn on the closed captioning, if you could, just so folks have, or the live transcript, just so folks can follow that along if they would like to. Great. And now, before I go any further, I would like to mention that I'm joining you today from Toronto, or Tech Toronto, and I wish to acknowledge that this land on which WorkInCulture operates on for thousands of years has been the traditional land of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people. And today, this meeting place of Toronto is still home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we're grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. And while our offices are located in Toronto, we do have a provincial focus, which brings our programming and services to many different regions, like Windsor-Essex, which I understand sits on the Three Fires Confederacy's traditional territory of the Ojibwe, Odawa, and the Potawatomi nations. So it's a pleasure to be able to bring these different regions together today for our info session. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with WorkInCulture, or maybe this is the first time that you're becoming aware of our resources, we're a nonprofit art service organization, and our mission is to support the career development of people working in the arts. So this includes maintaining career resources like our popular job board, which most people come to us first for. And then we also conduct research to benefit the sector's workforce development. And we also develop and deliver training tailored to support the people of the arts and culture sector. And that includes the program that you are joining us to hear about today, our Growing Creative Careers Windsor and Region program. So we've got a full agenda, and I'll just go over briefly about what we're going to cover today. So we'll give you a bit of information about the overall program. And then we're also going to be talking about the specific training focus of cohort 3, which is going to be planning your projects. We'll outline some of the learning outcomes and reinforce some of the eligibility for the program, what the benefits are, what the time commitment is, and the different session types that you can expect for this program. And then I'll also end things off with how to apply, and then we'll open things up for question and answer after the fact. So if you do have any other questions that have come up during the info session or that maybe have not been answered by the FAQs or the application form through our website, you're welcome to bring them up then. So just briefly recapping what the Growing Creative Careers Windsor and Region program is all about. It is a training series that we have been developing and delivering in partnership with the Windsor-Essex Small Business and Entrepreneurship Center and the Arts Council of Windsor and Region, with some support from the City of Windsor as well. The training and type of skills and knowledge that we're looking to build stems from previous training that we've offered throughout Ontario for a similarly sized region, with a particular focus on the types of business and career development skills that have been highlighted as most needed for the Windsor-Essex region by people from the region. So far, we have completed 2 cohorts since starting delivery in 2021. The first cohort was focused on early career and emerging arts professionals. And the second cohort was focused on building better boards and more effective governance for arts organizations. And the upcoming cohort that we have that you're here to hear about is cohort 3, that is planning your projects. And then we have one final cohort that we'll be delivering in 2023 that is still to be confirmed. So on that note, I'm going to pass things over now to my colleague Nadja Pelkey, who is our curriculum consultant and facilitator for this program, so that she can lead us through what to expect in the program.
All right, so this program really is focused on project planning, but it's not focused on project planning from a particular perspective. So it's a multi-arts project planning perspective. So the kinds of things that we'll be looking at are how to sort of, how to take your creative project, whether that is, an individual project, collaboration, partnership, whatever, breaking that down into steps and creating a very achievable plan. This training is also done in community, which means that not only am I giving you resources and WorkInCulture is giving you resources, but you will also be working closely together. Because of course, everyone who's worked in the arts knows that, if we're not sharing information, if we're not responding to each other, we end up repeating a lot of those first steps that people have already done and gained a lot of expertise in. So part of this program really is working together to create and refine the plans for the projects. So this program can support artists as individuals, artists working collaboratively, community arts workers, nonprofit or for-profit arts organizations, someone who's starting, perhaps an arts-focused business, or other professionals or community groups. So there's that opportunity to work together closely and workshop and get feedback on your ideas. And, really we're going to focus on collaboration, partnership development, things like building out expectations, and also, the kinds of planning documents that are needed. So what is, what's very necessary, how to chart that progress, how to write out that workflow, how to understand, where things need to go sequentially. If you're looking at, securing funding, if you're looking at how to evaluate projects, how do we, oh, sorry, I bumped my laptop. How do we put those things in an order that makes sense and makes them achievable? Because the real idea behind this isn't just planning, but it's execution. So how do we take these ideas and get them from that idea stage into something that is achievable and then executed? So Stephanie, can you put the next slide on? So the outcomes are to create your detailed plan. So for every person engaged in this program, that plan is going to be different, and it should be different, right? This training should not kind of leave you with a kind of empty template. This training will respond directly to what you're working on in the context that you're working on it in. So also, everyone will have a really good understanding of collaboration, partnerships, and know how to structure the roles and responsibilities within those. You'll also, by working with each other, be building a network of contacts who are not necessarily working in the exact same discipline as you. We'll be working on things like budgeting and finances, to make sure that if you're seeking funding, or if you're just looking to structure your project and to sort of understand where the funding is coming from, that you have a very good base to work with. We'll also have external speakers in to talk about funding sources, grant applications, and things like that. And then also you'll get a kind of completion certificate. The thing about completion certificates is that, when you're applying to certain foundations and grants, that can be sort of an extra way where whomever is looking at your application can see, well, this person's really deeply engaged in, working on this project. They've received additional training. They have this. Stephanie, can you go to the next one? And so in terms of eligibility, who can take part in this program? Anyone with an arts or creative practice at any stage. Also, I will say right now that I deeply prefer that any training that I do incorporates people of all levels of experience, professional, creative backgrounds, and that, you know, we learn so much more by being in a room full of different kinds of people than we do if we are stuck into these kind of cohorts where we are only with like people, right? So if we're only focused on youth programming, or we're only focused on visual arts or something, you know, we lose a lot of information from other people. An arts and culture organization can engage in this programming. So if you're looking to take on a kind of project and refine the process for that, individual arts administrators. So whether or not you're working with a particular organization or not, and your focus can be on anything. So we're not limiting, it's whatever you want to engage with, and we're going to show you the steps to plan that out. So whether you're, you know, creative professional, individuals, businesses, organizations, if you've participated in programming before, or if you haven't. So the only actual sort of eligibility is that you must be based in the sort of geographic area. All right, next slide. All right, and so the benefits to this program: you'll be connected with community leaders and specific resources. A lot of this program will involve co-learning. So you won't just be learning from facilitators and presenters, but a lot of it will be being able to talk about what it is that you're working on with other people and receive that kind of feedback and attention to what you're doing. Because I think that, you know, so often we plan things and that planning process is really kind of private, right? And then it's only when we bring that out to a granting agency or to public view that it gets opened up. And I think that, you know, if we're able to work more collaboratively on this, we can eliminate some of those roadblocks or some of the challenges that we might experience. So a progressive learning experience, which means we're building on skills. And then there's also, within the program, connecting you to additional opportunities with other partners as well, and then guidance on the next step. So at the end of this program, you'll be sort of at a stage where you're ready to execute, and then, you know, we'll be meeting with you and talking about, okay, where are we going now? What do we need? Do we need, you know, do you need letters provided for a grant application? What is, you know, how can we get this to launch? Because really the outcome that we want to see is everyone, you know, launching the project that they're working on. And again, so there'll be like a completion certificate at the end. Next slide. So the time commitments, this is structured in a bit of a different way. And it will be hybrid. So some sessions will be in person and some sessions will be online. If you're someone who needs to travel to sessions, we'll work with you on how to support that. You know, if you're someone who would need to be traveling in, please let us know and we can work with you on how to sort of best accommodate your participation. So there's 8 sort of total sessions. 2 sessions will be in-person sessions. One of those will be a full day session. One of those will be a half day session. 6 of the sessions will be delivered virtually over Zoom, and those will be about 2 hours each. And there's a copy of the full schedule if you follow the link. So assignments, exercises, and readings, these also will all be sort of tailored to you. So you can anticipate spending a couple of hours between sessions to sort of work on your project, which we anticipate this is something that you're working on anyway. So, you know, what we're doing is trying to make the work that you're doing already a little easier to complete, and providing you a framework for that, and providing you an experience to sort of to support that. So this is really about creating a supportive environment to plan out your project and get some real tangible results for your ideas. So Stephanie, did you want to jump in about anything?
Well, maybe I can cover a bit about the session types, so folks have a better idea of what they can expect. Now, in terms of timing, I should also add that this is meant to be a progressive series, requiring a high level of participation. So there is an expectation that participants are able to complete the whole program. And Naomi did share a copy of the schedule in the chat if you'd like to open that up to follow along. There's also a copy that you can download through our website. But just to add a bit of a note about what to expect for the sessions, the way that we framed it is that we have 6 core sessions that would only be open to the cohort participants. So that includes the in-person sessions and virtual sessions. And then 2 of the virtual sessions would be framed as public sessions. So the sessions featuring our sort of external experts coming in to speak to specific areas of the project planning process. Those would be open to both the cohort participants and any of their colleagues or peers, as well as the general public, just to give folks a chance to, from the wider community who may not be able to commit to the entire program, a chance to be able to benefit from some of the learning that we're offering, but also to give you a chance that if you are working with folks in a wider context in terms of bringing your project to life, that you do have that opportunity to bring them in to these 2 sessions to continue that conversation, to learn more about the resources that are available to you so that you can continue building together. So that's what I just wanted to add about the session types. And then other than that, in terms of how to apply, we're accepting online applications right now until September 2nd. And the link to the online form is available on our program page, which you can find on the slide. And maybe I'll ask Naomi to enter into the chat if you haven't seen it already. We've also included a PDF of the application questions on our program page in case you'd like to take some time to prep your answers, say in a Word document, before entering the details into the online form. There's also a copy of the FAQs available on the program page if you wanted to refresh your memory of anything that we discussed today, or if there's any questions that you might have while you're putting together the form. And of course, I'm also available to talk to you about your application if you do have any other questions. I'll put my email into the chat just in case, but you're welcome to, as you're putting together your application, if you do have any questions about whether your project's the right fit or whether you fit any of the eligibility requirements, happy to discuss that. And outside of that, we can open things up now for questions. And what I'll do at this point is I will turn off the recording, and from there on in, we can open things up to the floor if you have any questions at this point.